Dead by Daylight has destroyed racism, just like I destroyed your mom's vagina last night. It took me like 5 minutes. I mean, just take a look at this black lady. She is black. I mean, maybe Kamala didn't win the election, but this lady has already won my heart. Aww. Because, you know, Nigerian girls, they got that package. I think I get something in my eye. Boys, please don't fail, no, not November. But anyway, let's talk about how Dead by Daylight has officially ended racism. Oh, and before that, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you like black version of Walter White. Alright guys, so I'm very happy to tell you that finally we have all kinds of killers in Dead by Daylight. We have the white man, we have an Asian guy, we have an African American, but I have no idea why he doesn't look like Barack Obama. And now we got an ebony porn category in Dead by Daylight. What's next? Maybe we are gonna get a Mexican killer. I'm not gonna lie, I would smash them. The new killer is called the Houndmaster, and I won't lie, I want to be called her Poundmaster. Oh shit, wait. The Houndmaster is currently terrible? Oh, wait, don't tell me that the first black killer in Dead by Daylight is terrible. Don't tell me that it's terrible. Wait. Alright, you might say that the first black killer might have been the Doctor, but to me he looks white, okay? No disrespect, I respect everybody who deserves respect, you know? Now, after playing with this killer for a bit, I have formed an opinion that this killer is actually weaker than Freddy or the Trapper. So basically what I'm saying is that I believe that this is the weakest killer ever. Granted, this is only a PTB, it's like the first or a second day of the PTB, so our feedback is very important. So basically this killer has two modes or two abilities, if you want to call them that way. You can either send your dog to search for survivors, or you can send your dog to chase survivors, which in theory it sounds pretty cool and pretty strong. Especially to me as a Vecna main, this sounds very appealing because, you know, Vecna has multiple abilities in his power, so I'm able to search for survivors. By using the Dispelling Sphere, I'm able to block the pallets with my Mage Hand ability, I'm able to hit survivors from the distance with Flight of the Damned. That's why I love Vecna, and this killer in theory sounds something like that with a little bit less abilities, which is cool, but in practice this killer is just straight up dog shit. I mean, while in a search mode you can send your dog towards a targeted location, you can even send your dog towards a specific generator if it works, because funny enough, half of the time it wouldn't work for me because this killer has a lot of bugs. You know, this is an early phase of the PTB, so I understand it, but the fact that some bugs can make this killer much weaker, it actually annoys me quite a lot. And when you send your dog towards a specific location, there's a very little area of effect around your dog, and if survivors are in that area, they will be revealed to you via the killer instinct. The problem is that the area of effect is so small that more likely than not you will not be able to track the location of these survivors, since you have to be very precise to find these survivors with your dog. And keep in mind that this killer's power, like all of the other killer's powers, it has a cooldown, right? And if you send a dog to search for survivors, you will have to wait for that dog to come back for your cooldown to end. And imagine a scenario which happens a lot to me. You send a dog towards a specific generator expecting that dog to find survivors there, but the dog ends up not finding anybody over there, and then you see a survivor right in front of you. You want to use your dog to chase after that survivor, but you have to wait for a couple of seconds to get that dog back. It sounds crazy, but it happens quite frequently. Keep in mind that after you send your dog to search for survivors, if you follow your dog, you have to be precisely following the dog. There's a little line that you have to follow. it will make you faster, which is cool, but the problem is you have to go exactly where the line is, and if you go anywhere else, if you want to take a shortcut, or if you see a survivor somewhere next by, you will lose your momentum, you will lose your speed, and you can send your dog to chase survivors, which is cool because you can do it from quite a bit of a distance, and it is very handy in some situations, but it's very rare when the dog is able to hit the survivors, and even if it hits the survivors, it will not injure those survivors. Instead, it will kind of hold those survivors and drag them towards you, and what you have to do to injure those survivors is hit them with your M1 attack, which in my opinion is kind of dumb. I mean, girl, you have a fucking dog, you have a dangerous looking dog next to you, and this dog, without your commands, cannot do shit, and even with your commands, this dog is weak as fuck. This killer is not scary whatsoever. I mean, who the fuck wanted to see a killer like that, right? It reminds me of the school merchant situation, because the school merchant was probably the most disappointing killer in Dead by Daylight's history. I remember when the school merchant came out, people were rating that chapter like overwhelmingly negatively, because nobody wanted to see a killer like that in Dead by Daylight. And this is another instance that looks very similar to me. I do not like what I see, I do not like what I experienced on the PTB with this killer, and honestly, what saves this PTB for me from being bad is the positive changes to Michael Myers, which is actually a big deal, and I might make a video about that in the future, because not everything is negative. I also quite like the new map, you know, the new variation of Ormond. It looks very, very cool, and even some of the new perks are actually very useful. But the new killer, I mean, she is black, and I respect that, and even though I don't like politics in video games, but you know, we cannot avoid different nationalities. Of course, we can avoid, you know, publishing sexual orientations. I do not support any sexual orientation publishing in video games. I have already made a video about that. But having different races of people in a video game, I think it's good. I think it spreads the love towards people no matter where you're born, you know, because you are a person no matter what, and you are important, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm just spreading some love over here, but I absolutely hate this killer. Not because she's black, don't get me wrong. So don't get me wrong. Anyway, guys, comment your opinions, because I'm pretty sure there will be different opinions. Of course, there will be people who enjoy this killer and love this killer no matter what. And this is an early stage of the PTB, so it could be changed. It could be changed, and I hope it will. Anyway, see you later. Bye bye.